What's up, Laker fans? Welcome into the Laker Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, as always, Jimmy Crowther, breaking down all the latest Laker news and rumors. And today we got stuff on both the newsy side and the rumor side, so you're going to want to stay tuned for all of that. But before I get into that, I want to thank you for helping us get to 20,000 subscribers here on the Lakers Report. You guys are awesome, and there's such an easy way to subscribe if you haven't already. All you got to do is scroll on down, hit the big red subscribe button, or we'll put the link in the comments and in the description. My next milestone, I want to get to 23,000 subscribers for guess who? LeBron James. You know who's after that? Mamba. We're going for 24K, but let's go with 23K first. We're at 20,400 as I'm recording this video. Maybe by the end of it, we'll get there, or at least a little bit closer. Now let's start off today with some Laker news about Luol Deng. You didn't expect to see Luol Deng on this episode, but there he is. They're trying to get his contract off the books. And you're like, what are you talking about, Jimmy? He's not even in the league anymore. Well, the Lakers are paying him through the 2022 NBA season, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, remember, the Lakers bought Luol Deng's contract out in 2018 after they realized he wasn't good anymore, and he went on to play with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But the Lakers are appealing to the league that, hey, when he was playing for us, he suffered a career-ending injury. Well, it couldn't have been career-ending because he played with the Timberwolves after he played with the Lakers. Now, here's Bobby Marks, the ESPN cap guru, on what this means and what it could mean for the Lakers. He says, considering that Deng went on to play 22 games with Minnesota in 2018-2019, which is when the Lakers bought Deng's contract out, it will be extremely difficult to prove that Deng suffered a career-ending injury with the Lakers. Nothing wrong with applying, but a long shot that his salary gets removed. Now, I do want to show you what Luol Deng's contract looked like because the year he got paid was ridiculous. He was making $18 million in his first year, $17 million in the next year. He was scheduled to make about $17 million in 2018-19, but they bought him out, and he agreed to give back about $5 million. And then the Lakers were like, all right, we'll buy you out, and we'll pay you $15 million from 2019 to 2022, but we're going to break that up into 3 years. So they're still paying Deng $5 million per year, which takes away $5 million in cap space they could use on a player that is actually in the league. So the Lakers are like, hey, let us get that off our books and let us use that $5 million on someone that can actually contribute. We'll see what happens. I don't expect them to get the exception, but it's at least interesting, and it might make this offseason a little bit more interesting as well. Now, Luol Deng, a pretty random Laker, pretty random player you didn't expect to see on today's episode. So what I want you to do in the comments section is scroll down, name the most random Laker you can think of. Off the top of my head, Luol Deng and Timofey Mozgov. There you go. There's two random ones right off the top. Name yours in the comment section below. Now, I want to tell you about our friends over at BetUS that are hooking you Laker fans up with a very special deal. When you go to chatsports.com/Lakers and use our promo code LAKERS125, you get a 125% deposit bonus. Now, I know there's no basketball happening right now, but maybe you want to bet on some football games. You want to bet on some college football, NFL, the MLB World Series is going on right now. Whatever you want to put money down on, you can do it with that 125% deposit bonus. You put in $100, they're going to give you $125 to bet with at BetUS. Hey, the Lakers are title favorites right now. Go win some money and go to chatsports.com/Lakers. Use that promo code LAKERS125. Let's talk about JaVale McGee because he could be leaving the Lakers this offseason. He has a $4 million player option going into the offseason. No word on what he's going to do with that yet, but a report out of Los Angeles is that he has sold his house in L.A. Now, fun fact, that house was formerly owned by Mark Anthony, which is a fun little fact there, but McGee has sold that house. And he hasn't bought a new one quite yet. So we'll have to see what happens with McGee. Now, he did start in 68 of the 68 games that he played in and turned out to be a very valuable contributor to this team and really one of the most consistent big men on the Lakers roster. Put up about 7 points per game, pulled down about 6 rebounds, blocked shots pretty well, and finished lobs around the rim. He split most of his time with Dwight Howard. And now with JaVale becoming a free agent, potentially, assuming he opts out of his player option, that means you've got your 2 starting big men as free agents because we know AD is going to opt out, although he'll probably re-sign. Dwight Howard is an unrestricted free agent, and Markieff Morris is an unrestricted free agent. Those are all your centers and power forwards currently on the roster, besides, I guess, Devontae Cacok. So now you got to look to the free agent market and see who becomes available. Now, I'll tell you one player that I really love for this Laker team is Serge Ibaka. If the Lakers get JaVale McGee off their books, if they don't have, and if they get, I guess, Luol Deng off their books, they'll have money to spend on guys like Serge Ibaka, maybe an Aaron Baines. Tristan Thompson could make a lot of sense for this Laker team. Mason Plumlee could be a good replacement for JaVale McGee. And I like the idea of adding Marc Gasol, although he's a little bit older and might not be as valuable as a contributor as some of these other guys. But I'm interested to see what JaVale does. I think him selling his house in Los Angeles is definitely something we need to keep an eye on, and we definitely will keep an eye on it here on the Lakers Report, so make sure you've subscribed, because whether he opts in or opts out, we'll have all the news for you here on Chat Sports. Now, what I want you to do is decide to bring one of these centers back. I know you'll probably want two back. I think JaVale and Dwight will both at least be back in Laker jerseys next year, but if you could only pick one, which of these three would you choose? Type DC for DeMarcus Cousins. Maybe you want to take the risk on him. Type JM for JaVale McGee, which I think is the safest pick. And then type DH for Dwight Howard, who I think wants to be back with the Lakers, and I think the Lakers want him back. Let's talk about Carmelo Anthony. Could the Lakers finally bring him in? Fansided said that Melo needs to be the one guy the Lakers really focus in on with their veterans minimum contract. Now, is Melo going to accept that vet min? I'm not 100% sure. I think he'll at least want the mid-level exception. He had a great role in Portland. But one thing that I've really been interested in, and you can see it on our latest video on the Chat Sports channel, is that Melo wants to play big minutes. He wants to go somewhere where he's going to play a lot. I'm not sure Los Angeles is that team. Now, you look at what he did this past year in Portland. He played 33 minutes per game, which was up from the 29 minutes per game he was already playing in Houston in 2018-2019 in that abysmal season that he got cut after just 10 games. He also was very efficient. 38% from three, 43% from the field. He shot the ball well. But if he wants to go somewhere that he feels like he needs to play more than 33 minutes a night, I'm sorry, Melo, but the Lakers are not the team for you. I just got to be honest. Now, here's what Fansided said on the potential Melo to Los Angeles deal. They said Melo has the ability to contribute to the bench and should accept that role in Los Angeles. He will also have the opportunity to close games if he's playing well on certain nights. Wow, really groundbreaking stuff there, Fansided. Thanks. He's going to play. Okay, so he's going to play more if he's playing well. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, here's my deal. I think Carmelo would be perfect in Los Angeles. I think he would be an upgrade from Kyle Kuzma, who I think the Lakers should try to trade this offseason while he still has some kind of value. You go and get Melo as a sixth man. My problem isn't with the Lakers bringing him on. My problem is with Melo saying yes or no, because I think Carmelo wants a bigger role than what the Lakers would be willing to give him. And if Melo's just going to go out and chase minutes rather than try to actually win games, I'm sorry, but the Lakers are not the team he's going to end up with. So let me ask you this question before we get out of today's show. I want you to name one player that you want the Lakers to sign for the veteran minimum. Maybe it's one of those big men I mentioned earlier in the show. Excuse me. Maybe it's Carmelo Anthony. Maybe it's a point guard like a Jeff Teague, a DJ Augustine. But name one player you want the Lakers to use their veteran minimum contract on this offseason.